No, this video is not about Rolex. Well, not specifically about Rolex, but I do use Rolex among other brands in my assertion that watch collectors should not just follow the crowd when buying a watch. Wait, don't leave this video just yet. You may know this already or not care about it because you are an experienced watch collector. Whatever your feelings might be on this subject, I ask that you watch this entire video and provide your input so that other collectors can benefit from this episode of Adventures with Time. One of the worst actions one can take as a watch enthusiast, especially as a new collector, is to purchase a watch solely because someone said you should. Although I've touched on this topic in some of my collecting strategy videos, I think it deserves its own video. I'll leave a link to my watch strategy playlist at the end of this video for your consideration. To be clear, I'm not saying we should ignore the input of other watch enthusiasts when making a decision to buy. On the contrary, one should seek out as much information about any potential addition to our collection, especially when you can't try the watch on in person. Obtaining input from others will help to minimize any surprises one might get. Someone else's experience with a specific watch might uncover some aspect of the watch which you find not to your liking. Another issue I would think is the lack of highlighting paint on this DLC bezel. There's just a white marker at the 0 position. The other indicators on the bezel are just etched depressions. Hence, determining the elapsed time would be difficult, especially if one were underwater. So no, I'm not advocating to ignore what others are saying about a watch. However, watch enthusiasts at times may be tempted to ignore our own thoughts in favor of what other, perhaps well-established collectors are advocating. I've fallen into this trap myself.
You've got to get a Rolex because everyone on YouTube is saying you should have one.
Don't buy a Grand Seiko, they're just overpriced Seiko watches.
When I started collecting watches, I really thought I needed to have a Rolex sports watch. Submariners and Explorer 2s were talked about all over the internet. One might think you're not a true watch enthusiast if you don't have one of these models. Although I believe Rolex to be a great brand and that the Submariner and Explorer 2 are excellent watches, the problem was that I wasn't thrilled with their looks, except for the hull. I thought that was a beautiful watch. What saved me was that these models in new condition were nowhere to be found. I had a hard time even finding one to try on my wrist. Saved me? That may not be the appropriate phrase. I would have done well if I purchased one of these two models. Even if I lost interest in the watch, most likely I could flip it and even make a profit. What I mean is that I didn't buy a fairly expensive watch just because someone said it was the must-have watch. On the flip side, I did pass on buying a watch because of flack I was getting from other collectors. If you followed my activities on this channel, you probably know that I had the opportunity to buy the Grand Seiko limited edition SBGH 269 at their boutique in New York City. Influenced by statements of other collectors, and somewhat by self-doubt, I passed on the chance to own a watch that truly spoke to me and reminded me of my trip to ancient Japan. Since I publish weekly videos on watches and watch collecting, I regularly get comments stating some collecting position as if they were indisputable. Real watch enthusiasts don't waste their time with affordable watches. Never buy a watch new, buy them used, otherwise you're wasting your money. Don't bother with modern watches, only buy vintage watches. However, as authoritative as these statements may sound, they don't factor in the interest of the individual collector. The fact to recognize is that we are all different and have our own aspirations and reasons for collecting watches. We follow different paths on our horological journey. When I started as a watch enthusiast, I acquired primarily affordable watches. I wasn't ready to spend over $1,000 on a watch, as I was not confident in my selection skills. Similarly, I didn't even look at vintage watches. As I grew and gained more experience, I allowed myself to branch out to higher tier watches as well as vintage watches. Even after broadening my watch knowledge, I still enjoy many types of watches. I appreciate affordable and microgram watches. Many may not be to my liking. However, I find it fascinating to see and experience the designs produced by the numerous brands that exist these days. My advice to you, whether you are just starting out as a watch enthusiast or an experienced collector, is to not be overly influenced by other collectors. And don't be intimidated by more advanced collectors who make such definitive statements. Consider all of the information you find while exploring a specific watch or brand. Attribute what is fact and what is opinion. Then, determine how the facts impact your interest in the watch. And, as important, whether the opinions align with your attitudes and your location along your journey. Whether you agree with me or not, please contribute in the comments your thoughts and personal experiences as they relate to this discussion. Now here is a link to my playlist, which includes my videos on watch collecting strategies. And over here is the playlist where I chronicle my foray into vintage watches, specifically a World War II military watch. And here is my latest State of the Collection video from the end of 2021. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.